Star Wars is such a large and cumbersome franchise now, it's really hard to pinpoint a specific moment to talk about. From Luke facing off against his father in Return of the Jedi, to Baby Yoda using the Force to save Mando in The Mandalorian. The series has taken us on some incredible journeys, but at its core, Star Wars is about family. And not just a prominent theme of Skywalker, solos and so on cropping up, as it is the Skywalker saga. No, I'm meaning more the feeling of family. Friendships that develop into something more. The ragtag group of rebels we witness tear down the Empire's 2 Death Stars. We see them become a family. However, the strongest connection and development we witness in Star Wars is the relationship between Anakin Skywalker and Obi Wan Kenobi. These two begrudgingly had to partner up because of Qui-Gon Jinn's dying wish, but it ends up leading to one of the best partnerships and even the most intense fight we see within the Star Wars saga. And that fight is exactly what I would like to focus in on during this video. Anakin versus Obi Wan, the finale of Revenge of the Sith, the Battle of the Heroes. This scene is the eruption of all the tension, emotion and general abrasion that these two might have had over the years. Although they're showcased as an efficient duo, and we're told about a number of their exploits, not only in the films but the Clone Wars series too, they do occasionally have rough patches. The triangle of affection between Anakin, Obi-Wan and Padme being a prominent feature, and of course, this is the thing that sparks Anakin's emotional fuse, believing in a betrayal. This fight shows us everything you need to know about their very simple relationship, with Obi-Wan not only being Anakin's friend, but a brother, and arguably a father figure, with parallels to Luke and Vader's duel making subtle appearances. These two men know each other better than anybody else in the universe. Hell, Kenobi trained Skywalker and taught him almost everything he knows himself, yet the more youthful Anakin and his overconfidence is a self-oversight. Obi-Wan is on the defensive for most of the fight, using his knowledge of Anakin's power, fighting style and confidence as his only tactical strength. I'd also like to take a moment to appreciate this duel in not only its metaphorical impact, but how this is actually, yes, actually natural dueling from Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. This part isn't sped up or relying heavily on CGI models like some of the earlier duels. I feel like this really brings out the tension and creates the drama between the two, when it's actually real and not just CGI models flying all over the place in a really unrealistic manner, like the Count Dooku stuff. Anyway, these two can almost predict every single move from the other before they've even begun to swing their lightsaber. The theme of balance in the Prophecy of the One is obviously heavily inspiring this, but Jesus, even when they reach out to the Force for some assistance, they end up in a stalemate, creating an anomaly of power that whirls both of them across the room away from each other. The connection these two have with one another is unparalleled. The only time we ever see teamwork that could challenge their connection would be during the Duel of the Fates, with Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn tricking Darth Maul multiple times with fake-outs. Speaking of Duel of the Fates, a leitmotif from the track Duel of the Fates itself is even inserted into the Battle of the Heroes theme, allowing us to reminisce about the past adventures we've been on with these two since the Phantom Menace, and how it's all led up to this inevitable moment, rounding off the trilogy, the initially planned saga, and, of course, the friendship between Anakin and Kenobi. Just as that moment of catharsis comes into our lives, it's over, as the Battle of the Heroes theme swells to what seems to be the final stage of the fight. Skywalker and Kenobi give us one last push, coming together, but neither is budging. A parallel from the previous Force push moment is showcased in the gorgeous erupting lava pit, representing the unstoppable force of Anakin hitting the immovable object of Kenobi. For the first time, we're witnessing two of the best Jedi ever, at their peak, dueling one another. And not only that, but they both have such a strong personal attachment to each other. And they don't truly want to hurt one another, but as Kenobi states, he will do what he must to preserve his values and beliefs in the Democratic Republic. They both have their leanings, which have been skewed by both the Council and Palpatine, which has caused them to grow apart and effectively become opposites by the end of the story. Calm and composed Kenobi, who respects the Force around him, against his rash, arrogant and overconfident little brother, Anakin. I know it sounds stupid to bring in biblical references, but we're effectively seeing the battle of Jesus versus the Antichrist. Anakin is effectively a fallen angel tempted by an evil power and reluctant to give it up once he obtains it. Kenobi, albeit our saint figure, calls out Palpatine as evil, which sort of shows his own blindness to not only his failure as a master brother and friend, but for not realising how the Council manipulated him and Anakin for their own benefit, and undoubtedly led him down this path. Although he does admit failing Anakin just as the battle seems to be concluding, I don't think he quite realises Qui-Gon Jinn's initial plan for him, and how deviating from it has allowed Anakin to become not the ultimate partner, but a reckless, emotional mess that was easy pickings for Darth Sidious to recruit. As the fight concludes, we get a moment that perfectly characterizes the nature of both of these men.
I have the high ground. You underestimate my power.
Clouded by overwhelming emotion, Anakin tries and fails to defeat his master, burning up in the fires of Mustafar, garnering eternal pain, suffering, and anger, truly becoming Darth Vader. Obi Wan Kenobi came into this battle with the knowledge that his brother Anakin, the man who had fought by his side throughout the Clone Wars, and his best friend, was long gone. The man who massacred the younglings in the security tapes was not the Jedi he once knew. Much like he mentioned to Luke, Vader killed Anakin the moment he bowed down to Palpatine. No matter what they had been through, Obi-Wan always loved Anakin, and only did what he did because he knew he was standing in the high ground from Darth Vader. Star Wars tells many stories, but I feel like the tragedy of Anakin and Obi-Wan's friendship is a potent one, especially standing out to me in the prequels. Imagine going through all of that with your friend, only to have to end up beating them in a duel. And, well... Of course, this being a channel about converging media and immersing yourself in convergence, you know I've got another angle. A game that perfectly encapsulates this beat for beat. The ultimate Anakin and Obi-Wan friendship experience. None other than the original LEGO Star Wars game by Traveller's Tales, all the way back in 2005. And I specifically mean the original LEGO Star Wars that only follows the prequel trilogy, as it allows you to hit every single beat of the relationship on a fundamentally real level. You play through the entire game, couch co-op style with your best mate, collecting studs, rebuilding mechanisms, locating minikits, becoming true Jedi. Just you and your best friend, spending hours on end playing through this incredible recreation of the Star Wars prequel trilogy in LEGO form, only to come to Episode 3, Chapter 6, Darth Vader, the final mission of the game. You play as Obi-Wan Kenobi, your friend naturally as Anakin Skywalker, the best partnership in Star Wars, but perhaps not forever. A cutscene showcases Anakin's delusion into Padme and Kenobi's betrayal, crafting tension between not only the characters on screen, but you and your friend. A fight breaks out between you two, leading into a building that starts to collapse due to the planet's lava pits and volcanoes erupting. With an established rivalry, you are now forced to work with your opponent, to make your way through the level, solving puzzles, timing jumps correctly, and collecting the usual LEGO gear, all without dying or killing one another. As the level progresses, more and more of the tasks require you to cooperate and work together, despite the lingering tension. You and your friend know what is inevitably about to happen. Whether you'd seen the film or not, the level is called Darth Vader. There will be a duel to round off the game. The last challenge you're both faced with is traversing platforms floating on lava that will shortly melt away, with the goal of more secure ground at the end of the path. Once you're both able to get to the final platform, you're each presented with the same amount of hearts as bosses usually get. You play through this entire game with your best friend, and now, the final boss is each other. Your friend, your brother, and now, your enemy. Whoever comes out as the victor will always feel great, and the loser angry that they didn't have the high ground. Truth is, this moment could often turn sour, which is odd for a LEGO game. Thankfully, they're so fun and replayable that the moment of anger passes with the free play replay value. But I definitely think this level emulates the emotion that both Anakin and Obi-Wan faced as their friendship spiraled. Does this scene define Star Wars? The relationship, the brotherhood between these two men. They became like family. And that family was torn apart by the Council and Palpatine, so yes, I think in its own weird way, it does. Thank you very much for watching the video, and if you want to see more of the Star Wars Defined series, you should check out the playlist link in the description below. It's definitely a change for the channel being involved in something like this, some sort of movement on YouTube, but it was fun to do. I've certainly got some more content coming up, so make sure to stick around. And once again, thank you very much for watching. My name is Andrew or Stanley111. Make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you've not done so already. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.